Hi loves, how are you? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Nina and today we are doing the weekly tarot scopes for the week of March 9th all the way through the 15th. This is going to be all for all signs. I'm going to be doing in categories. Timestamps will be left down below for all the signs. This is going to apply to your sun, moon, rising, and Venus in tropical and sidereal. So make sure to check out both if you want to. So yeah, I'm starting with earth signs and then we'll move on to the other elements as we go on. We're doing each sign, so there's that. And yes, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, share with anyone that you want to share it with. Comment down below your feedback. Let me know if it resonates with you. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification to know when I upload my videos. If you want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so at sinfulpluto.com. If you want to find me on social media, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Sinfulpluto. And with that being said, before I get into it, keep in mind that this is a general reading, so be aware of that. It might not apply to everyone, and that is okay. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest that doesn't. I hope that you're able to gain some sort of insight out of this. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So starting with Virgo. We are starting with you, Virgo, and I have the Queen of Pentacles reversed, the Four of Swords reversed, and the Magician. So this week, it seems as though there might be some sort of issues with believing in your worth and believing in your competence. It might be that you find yourself overly depending or overly relying on other people to get the work done for you. It seems as though there might be some sort of issue of you potentially giving up way too easily, or maybe other people around you giving up way too easily, right? With the Queen of Pentacles reversed, there might also be an issue of like you overgiving yourself, you giving too much of your energy to other people. And it seems that with the Four of Swords reversed, you might be losing sleep over this, Virgo. So be mindful of that. Be mindful of giving too much of your energy to other people, especially if it's at the cost of your rest and of your sleep and just like your you time. Okay, you might be really good at a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that you have to be of service to everyone. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they didn't really even ask for it. So just be mindful of that, Virgo. For some of you, you just might have a really hard time believing in yourself, believing that you are, just like a worthy human being. You might be feeling really hard on yourself and kind of just like, just being the way that Virgos are, or the way that Virgos can be, which is like really self-critical, hypercritical, sometimes self-deprecating, not really believing in your worth. Maybe being hyper like perfectionistic in some way, right? But with the Magician, this is saying here that you have all the skills and resources to get things done. You are a lot more powerful than you think, and there's no need for you to worry because you are a strong, independent person. You are so lovable, you are so worthy, you are so competent. There are so many things that you can manifest and that you are able to manifest, but it's all a mindset. We can be so hard on ourselves as human beings. So growing out of that sort of conditioning can be definitely a challenge, but it's very possible. All right. So just keep that in mind for you, Virgo. Okay. It's really important that you regain some sleep, okay? If you find yourself overworking yourself and really prioritizing work or whatever it is that you're working on, whatever it is that you're doing over your sleep, over your rest, over meditation, or over just like time to rejuvenate and to recover, that's an issue, okay? You need to prioritize recovery over whatever it is that you're doing. There has to be a balance between the two because I see that there's an imbalance in that, and that's not very productive for you. All right, moving on to Capricorn. So Capricorn, I have the 10 of Cups, I have the 10 of Wands, and I have the Hermit here. So this is Virgo energy. You could be dealing with a Virgo, although for some of you, it could just be how this week might be a time of like releasing a lot of burdens. All right. It seems as though you are feeling very good, very happy, very fulfilled. Maybe you're spending a lot of time with family or with friends or with loved ones, with community, with whoever you feel very close to. Maybe this is like, engaging in a club or something, or just feeling like you're just really connected with people, feeling very emotionally fulfilled with whatever this is, feeling very just like emotionally content. Like you're just like living la vida loca. You're living the good life is what it feels like here. And with the 10 of Wands reversed, it seems as though you're releasing a lot of burdens from your shoulders. They seem you're either already doing that or you're being encouraged to do so. Maybe some of you are taking a vacation or something, because I have the Hermit here. which talks about alone time. This to me kind of looks as the time to decompress and spending time with the people that you love. So that's really interesting for you, Capricorn. If you haven't already, the Ten of Wands reverse is really encouraging you to let go of anything that doesn't serve you, any sort of weight that you're carrying that doesn't belong to you, and to regain focus. With the Ten of Wands reverse, it could be that you have been feeling very scattered, or you've been kind of straying away from your goals or your paths because you have just been so focused on carrying on your everything on your shoulders and just kind of staying afloat. But by trying to stay afloat, you've been losing focus, you've been straying from the path. You have just you have lost sight of what it is that you want to do. You have lost sight of your goals, your interests. Maybe you have lost sight of what really matters, which is family or loved ones and friends or whatever it is, right? So that's kind of what it seems like. And so this week it seems as though going hermit mode might be really good for you, might be really healthy for you. Taking the time to spend with loved ones might be really beneficial to you. But also I think with the hermit here, this kind of just talks about meditation and reflecting on what you can do better, maybe reflecting on how you can get back on path, how you can get back to where you want to go, to where you want to be. Is there anything that needs kind of improving or adjusting so that you can, go back on track. You can get back on track and kind of just get things done. But also this to me just feels like a time of rest. It just feels like some sort of vacation for some of you. Spending time with loved ones and not focusing so much on work or responsibilities. Just leave that behind for a few days, leave that behind for the week, and just take time for yourself. Yes. So next we have Taurus. So we have the Star reversed, Aquarius energy. We have the Knight of Pentacles, and we have the Lovers reversed. Okay, so for some of you, there might be some sort of issues within a relationship of yours. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship. It does not have to be a romantic relationship. It can literally be a friendship in your life, or a relationship with someone at a job, right? Whatever dynamic interpersonal relationship this is, right? There might be some form of disharmony within that. Maybe you're butting heads for whatever reason it is. Maybe you feel as though you have lost hope within this dynamic, right? Maybe you feel that things are kind of hopeless and that there's nothing that you can do, and you kind of just want to give up. But Spirit is saying with this Knight of Pentacles to remain patient, to remain consistent, and to focus on the long-term goals. Maybe you're not happy now, or maybe you're not seeing eye to eye right now, but it doesn't mean that you won't be seeing eye to eye in the future. If this, obviously, if this is something that has been going on for a super long time and nothing has improved, if this has been happening for months on end and nothing has improved, obviously address the situation, maybe distance yourself from the person. But if this is something that has just kind of recently popped up, recently happened, maybe within the last few days or the last few weeks, give it some time, be patient, be consistent, because there is a long-term goal. Keep your eyes on the prize. For some of you though, this Lovers reverse can signify maybe how some of you may have been, I see. So with the Star reversed, okay, sorry, I'm all over the place right now. With the Star reversed, Taurus, it could be that maybe you feel hopeless, or you have lost hope. You have lost trust in the universe for things to progress, for things to move forward in a certain way. It might feel as though things are going very slow, or that they're not moving at all. And that might be very frustrating with you, because you want answers. You want to be able to see the tangible results of it all. And maybe you find yourself compromising your integrity, your values, your dignity in some way to get the gratification that you desire. But with that being said though, that gratification might not be long lasting, and it might not be something that is entirely fulfilling for you. So it's almost kind of like you're shooting yourself in the foot, because all this really might require is just a lot of patience and a lot of diligence, and it's absolutely so much easier said than done. But be mindful and be careful of compromising your values, your beliefs, your morals, just to get what you want, just to get whatever it is that you desire. Okay, we have to focus on the long-term goals and the long-term outcome rather than what we want immediately. We can't always be focusing so much on instant gratification. Okay, so that's kind of what I have to say for you, Taurus. Okay, keep that in mind this week. All right. All right, next we have water signs. So starting off with Pisces. This week for you, we have the Nine of Wands, the High Priestess, and the Queen of Wands. So this to me reads as though with this Nine of Wands, Pisces, it might be that you were kind of like overthinking or overanalyzing something. Maybe you're trying too hard to be like a little too logical. You know, we can see with the imagery here, like he's like biting on all the pencils and shit. And he's like trying to write something, right? And it's almost as though he can't seem to find the right words or the right things to say for whatever reason it is. For some reason, whatever it is that he's writing just isn't perfect. Like it's not hitting some like perfect spot for this person. You can see like all the crumpled up pieces of paper, just like draft after draft after draft. Just like kind of, I don't want to say like overthinking anything, but just like feeling really riled up, maybe feeling a little bit anxious. Maybe you're working on a deadline or something. And it just seems as though you're trying to get this thing out and you might be really close to finishing, but maybe it doesn't feel as though with each time, maybe it doesn't feel that it's just like, it doesn't quite connect with you in some sort of way, if that kind of makes sense. And so with the High Priestess here and with the Queen of Wands, it kind of seems as though you might need to listen more to your intuition or kind of connect more with your creative side, a little bit more of your abstract side in order to really kind of not only connect with this, but to kind of finish it in a way and like feel satisfied with whatever it is that you were working on, maybe whatever it is that you're writing or whatever the case is. So it just like, again, you might need to connect with spirit in some way. Maybe you need to meditate or whatever it is and like not work so much from a place of too much logic, you know, placing too much value on like the logical part of things or whatever it is. Maybe you need to appeal to emotions in some way. Maybe if this is like a persuasive essay that you're writing, maybe portray a little, maybe work towards, maybe work with a little bit more of like, what is it? Pathos? Or is that ethos? No, pathos, right? Yeah. Maybe work a little bit more with that and kind of maybe use some, I don't know, like emotional elements to kind of get your point across or whatever the case is, right? Maybe listen just a little bit more to your intuition. And with the Queen of Wands, this to me feels that you might feel a lot more empowered by doing so. Again, connecting a little bit more with your creative side, a little bit more with your abstract side, rather than trying to keep everything in like a super structured sort of way. Of course, you know, it's important to have some form of boundary or some sort of structure, but if it's to the point that you feel really restricted and you feel like you can't really do anything, that's where the problem lies. So there has to be balance between like structure and, you know, like boundlessness and like having enough freedom that you feel that you can say certain things or that, you know, your creative juices are flowing, but not so much to the point that it gets too much on either side. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what this feels like with the Queen of Wands. Also kind of talks about like a gaining confidence in some way. I feel that you'll feel more confident once you are able to connect more with your intuition. So there you go. Next we have next we have Cancer. Okay, Cancer, we have the Nine of Cups, we have the Eight of Cups, and we have the Emperor. So you could be dealing with an Aries or with a boss-like figure, a managerial figure, whatever this is, right? So it seems to me with this Eight of Cups and the Nine of Cups, it seems as though like you might be finding yourself kind of going back and forth on a decision as to whether or not you want to walk away from something, because the Eight of Cups is walking away from the Nine of Cups here. So the Nine of Cups talks about like wish fulfillment or something, like doing something that makes you happy, doing something that makes you feel more fulfilled, that sort of thing. And it's almost as though like you're walking away from that for whatever reason it might be. For some of you, it could be that you're walking away, that you might find yourself going back and forth as to whether to walk away from like a hobby of yours or and it doesn't have to be like a permanent thing, like with this walking away sort of thing, but it seems as though you might be kind of like, whether permanently or temporarily, walking away from maybe like a business pursuit. Like for example, if you are starting up your own business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you feel as though that hasn't really been paying the bills for you, maybe some of you might be kind of walking away from that. Again, maybe it could be temporary, but with the Emperor, it's almost like kind of walking away from the sort of abstract thing, or temporarily walking away from the thing that makes you happy in order to kind of do something that pays the bills. And with the Emperor, this to me kind of feels like capitalism, honestly. So rather than being your own boss is what it seems like. You might be the employee of someone else, or you might kind of have this decision to make of like whether you want to be someone else's employee, whether you are willing to kind of, you know, start listening to someone else's rules, start listening to someone else's orders, that sort of thing. So it kind of seems as though there's just this back and forth of like, am I willing to make this sort of sacrifice, or am I just going to continue working on my dreams and on my wishes and on my pursuits in hopes that it'll get better, or do I have to be realistic, or maybe not even realistic, but do I want to put this on pause for a little bit, or decrease the activity in this thing and, you know, start making money at like a 9-to-5 job or something along those lines is kind of what it seems like here for you, Cancer. So yeah, it seems like a pretty, I don't want to say like major decision, but it seems like a pretty, it's a decision that you might find yourself having to make, or, you know, trying to find the balance between the two things, or whatever the case is. So it's almost as though like doing it with the 9 of Cups, you know, the person is like all messy and like they're doing something that they love, but and like they're all like, you know, disheveled and stuff. You're just like focusing on that. And then here in the Emperor, this person is just like, you know, dressed up in his suit, you know, ready to conquer the world, you know, like ready to, you know, live and take place in a capitalistic society and economy. That's kind of what that seems like here. So, you know, decisions has to be made, or might be made. Maybe you have been applying to jobs because maybe your business just hasn't been paying the bills or whatever, for whatever reason, or maybe you just want to make a little bit of extra cash. So, and maybe it doesn't mean walking away. Maybe you're just moving forward from, maybe some of you might just be moving forward. It doesn't even have to be walking away. For some of you, it could just be that you're moving forward from, you know, maybe working at home to, you know, becoming a little bit more of a serious business. For, you know, that could be also a thing where you're becoming a little bit more kind of, becoming a little bit more polished, becoming a little bit more well-known, becoming a little bit more mainstream. For some of you, that could also be a thing, and it could all be within your own business. So that's cool too. Scorpio, next we have for you. We have the 2 of Cups for you, Scorpio, the 3 of Swords reversed, and then we have the 9 of Pentacles. So the immediate feeling that I get with this, there might be some sort of reconciliation between you and another person, whether it's a friend, a loved one, a romantic partner, whoever this is. I feel that there might be some sort of reconciliation, admitting one's wrongs from both sides, not just one person, but both sides, admitting one's wrongs and kind of just like setting things aside. You know, it's water under the bridge. It's said and done. And the 3 of Swords reversed talks about like healing. I feel as though there might be a pretty healing discussion between you and another person. It just feels like a growth. It feels like, you know, again, water under the bridge between you and this person, or between you and the situation, whatever it is. It seems as though you value this relationship too much, or you value this relationship much more than your ego. And so it's like, you know what, I'm willing to admit that I'm wrong. I'm willing to, you know, set our differences aside and really work this out. And with the 9 of Pentacles, it seems as though this is pretty successful, and it seems as though you're really close to the finish line. Like this was an obstacle that you were able to overcome, and now you're a step closer to further stability or security in however way that might apply to you. Okay, so that's what I have for you, water signs. Let's go on to air sign. Alrighty, air signs. So starting with Aquarius, I have the Lovers reversed, Gemini energy. Leave me. Lovers reversed, Gemini energy, the Hierophant, Taurus, Capricorn energy, and we have the King of Wands reversed. So the immediate vibe that I get from this is that for you, Aquarius, you might be feeling restricted in some sort of way. Maybe you're already in a relationship, right? Maybe you're in a relationship or in some sort of committed dynamic, and you're just not really feeling it. You and this person don't really align anymore in terms of like values, beliefs, morals, what have you. It could also just be there might be some form of like disharmony between you and this person. Like you're just maybe not seeing eye to eye. Maybe you're not getting along for whatever reason. And so with the Hierophant, it might be that you feel restricted within this dynamic. You might feel like just tired of it. You might feel just like really kind of suffocated. Maybe you feel as though you lack some form of freedom. And with the King of Wands reversed, maybe this represents your partner in some way. Maybe this person is just, maybe you feel as though this person is just very controlling of you. Maybe you just feel that they just are very egotistical, or they want things their way. Or with the King of Wands reversed, maybe you just feel as though this person just lacks the passion that you desire within this relationship. Maybe things feel just really dull between you and this person, and so there's just like this back and forth as to like what to do. Just feeling really overall dissatisfied within this relationship, within this dynamic. It doesn't have to be a romantic thing. It could be like a friendship or something. But that's kind of what it seems like. There's just kind of like a loss of passion, a loss of excitement, not really seeing eye to eye with this person. You maybe feel trapped or restricted within this dynamic for whatever reason. So that's kind of like the theme that I see for you this week, Aquarius. So yeah, so next we have Gemini, and for you, Gemini, I have the King of Pentacles reversed, Judgment reversed, and the World. So it seems to me, Gemini, that you might be falling into this pattern of materialism, maybe relying too much on material things, whether this is like actual money or other just like physical objects or whatever the case is, or maybe just like caring too much about the way that people view you, caring too much about status, recognition, fame, notoriety, things along those lines. Maybe caring too much about that. Maybe you're just maybe some of you have kind of fallen into a pattern of greed. And with the Judgment card reversed, it seems as though this might have been happening for a while now. Maybe this is a lesson that you have yet to learn. It's a pattern that you find yourself kind of just continuously falling back into, not really learning the lesson, and it kind of just like, it keeps on coming back up and coming back up and coming back up until you realize to like let go of what are pattern, habits, or just situations that this is related to with the King of Pentacles reversed, in terms of like potential greed or like hoarding, or just not being generous, not being charitable, wanting everything to yourself, not wanting to share anything with anyone, not wanting to share ideas, or just, again, being kind of greedy in that sort of way. So that might be an issue for you. Also, this could just be related to another person. Maybe this is someone else in your life who is being very greedy, and this is like a continuous cycle of them not wanting to give you something, them not being generous, them not being charitable in some way, them not taking into consideration your feelings, them only thinking about how they can gain from you or from other people, how they can gain money or gain status in some way, like how they can just one up you in some way, or whatever the case is, right? Maybe this is a pattern that you keep on falling into with this person. And with the World card, this talks about closure, this talks about the end of the cycle. So it seems as though that this week kind of signifies the end of that, and how things are really coming to a close, and how like the lesson has to be learned one way or another, whether this is you or another person. Like things just gotta give. So that's what that seems like. Next we have Libra. We have the 5 of Cups reversed, we have the 10 of Pentacles, and we have the Knight of Cups reversed. So what it seems like to me, Libra, for you this week, you might be really over a situation, right? Maybe you're just really over some sort of heartbreak or disappointment, right? You're over it, you've cried your tears, you're just done with it. You're just, it's said and done. You want to wash your hands of the situation. But with the Knight of Cups reversed, it seems as though that this person kind of wants to go back for some reason. And it's so funny because if I put it like that, because that's the way that it looks like. This person wants to come back, even though you have already washed yourself of this situation, and you're just trying to move forward and trying to walk away and just be over with it. With the Knight of Cups reversed, this person might be trying to come back, trying to make another offer to you, try to get you back into their life, trying to get you to fall back into the old pattern that you two might have fallen into, especially because they see now that you are very well supported and that you are in a stable position. It's almost as though they see that you're doing a lot better without them. You're spending a lot more time with friends and with family, and maybe they don't like that. And so they're like, oh, hey, what's up? You want to go out again? Do you want to go on a date? I'm really sorry for what happened, but it just seems as though they're just saying anything to get you back. Because with the Knight of Cups reversed, this is someone who they can be emotionally manipulative, but also just very emotionally immature. Maybe this person is younger than you, or they're just they're just annoying, right? They're more of a pest. So that's what that seems like. Libra, is that this person might try to get back into your life once they see that you're completely fine without them, because you have a strong support system, and you know, you have your community, you have your friends, you have your family, you have your social life, you have everything else, you know, like maybe you have like your status or your popularity or whatever it is, and they see that you're doing completely fine without them, you know, like you're not begging for them back. You know, some of you might not be begging for them and they're like, oh hey, like that's not how I expected it to go, can you take me back? And you're like, no. So that's what that seems like, Libra. So that might happen. All right, next we have fire signs. Fire signs. So I'm going to start with you, Aries. I have the High Priestess reversed. We have Temperance reversed. And we have the Hermit reversed. Wait, hold on. Wait. Oh, shit. Okay, these are the cards. Okay, there we go. So this is, excuse me, Sagittarius energy with Temperance. High Priestess reverse is like Piscean Cancer energy. It's water energy. We have the Hermit reverse, Virgo energy. So it seems to me, Aries, you really need to get out of the house, or you need to work on like being productive with your energy in some way. You need to start really connecting with your intuition and with your higher self, with your spiritual self, with your spirit guides, with your angels, with whoever, whatever. You need to, okay? The High Priestess reverse is telling me that you have disconnected from your spiritual self. You are very disconnected from your intuition in some way. It just feels very foggy, okay? You might be a little bit too grounded on this earth, or maybe too up in the clouds, whatever it is. You need to be present in the moment, okay? There has to be a sense of spiritual alignment and spiritual balance, okay? You need to find a balance between earth and the spiritual realm, okay? And with the Hermit reverse, this tells me that you have been isolating yourself way too much. You need to start meditating. Listen, if you're gonna be home all the time, and if you are unwilling to go out and like talk to people, at least go out in nature. At least go out in nature. Go on a hike. Meditate, do some yoga, do some journaling, reflect, okay? Do things that are productive for your energy and for your spiritual self. If you don't want to talk to people, fine, but make use of your energy, make use of your spirituality, connect with your spirituality. If you want to be alone, fine, but make use of it. All right, that's kind of what Spirit is saying here. There has to be spiritual balance. There has to be a connection with your spiritual self, because it seems as though you have lost connection with that. All right, next we have Leo. We have the Three of Swords reversed, the Five of Wands, and the Five of Swords. All right, there's a lot of conflict here, it seems. It seems as though things are being dragged out for whatever reason with this Three of Swords reversed and the Five of Swords. Drama is being dragged out. It feels very petty, and it seems that no matter who wins, it's an empty victory. All right, it just seems as though people are barking. People are just like yelling to see who can yell like louder. That's what it seems like. People are just screaming to see who's yelling louder. That's really what it just, again, it seemed more like an ego fight. It seems very egotistical, very superficial. People might be just acting very petty. It doesn't seem as though it's really getting anywhere. If anything, it's just dragging out the situation. It's making it worse. I mean, it's almost making it more difficult to move on from the situation, because something just keeps on being brought back up. Whenever it seems as though the conflict is finally ending and some sort of resolution is being reached, it seems as though someone, whether it's you or another person, it brings up something else that just like further ignites the flame. That just makes it all worse. So for you, Leo, it might be best to take the high road and kind of just like, take the high road, you know, like even though it might hurt your pride a little bit, it might be best to just take the high road, because it doesn't seem as though this victory is very worth it with the Five of Swords. It doesn't seem as though it will be really fulfilling. It's an empty victory. It won't really do anything in the long run. Like you won't even be thinking about this 10 years from now, 5 years from now, or even a month from now. It just seems very petty. It seems very stupid. Sagittarius. We have the Eight of Swords, the Seven of Wands, and the Six of Swords. So Sagittarius, you may be feeling stuck or powerless or helpless in some sort of situation. You may be feeling as though you are a victim in whatever case, in whatever situation or dynamic that you're in. You might be feeling even complacent or thinking that you have no choice, that there's nothing that you can do, that these are just the cards that have been dealt for you, but I promise you that's not the case. You can fight back. You can stand up for yourself. You can stand your ground. This is a much better energy to be in than the Eight of Swords. If anything, this Seven of Wands shows me that if you are perseverant and diligent, you know, you will have a victory, and you know, you can be the underdog and prove to the rest of the world that you will not be defeated, that you will not be taken advantage of or be underestimated. You know, you can conquer whatever opposition or obstacles that you are facing. It's up to you to take action, to take initiative, and to be very perseverant, to be diligent, and to be very determined, and to not let people knock you down. All right, put up a good fight. And with the Six of Swords, this talks about moving forward. It seems as though in order for you to transition into a new phase of your life, there is a level of action and initiative that you have to take on. Okay, this new phase of life might not, like, you might not enter this new phase of life if you just sit back and watch like life just happen to you. You might not be able to experience this transition, this new phase, this new chapter of your life if you just kind of like not do anything. You know, if you just remain in complacency and inaction. You know, there has to be something that has to be done on your end. You have a choice. You always have a choice. You have free will. There is something that you can do no matter what other people tell you. Okay, so keep that in mind for this week. There is always a choice. There is always something that you can do. There is always a different option, a different route that you can take. Okay, don't let other people think that they have power over you. All right, do not allow other people to engage in like these sort of power plays and that sort of thing, because you absolutely have the resilience, you have the determination, you have everything that you need. Okay, we literally have like your symbol, the archetype of the bow and arrow, right? Like you literally have everything that you need. Okay, it might feel that it's like 7 against 1, but you're good. Okay, just because it's 7 against 1 doesn't mean that you are outnumbered in terms of skills and perseverance. Like, yeah, there might be a lot of numbers, you know, they might outnumber you physically in terms of like these obstacles, but it doesn't mean that these obstacles are at a level that can beat you down. You know, they don't outnumber you in terms of skills, in terms of perseverance, in terms of diligence and that sort of thing. So there you go. Okay, I see you being able to move forward from this and being able to just like walk away from this chapter in your life. All right, so that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. And with that being said, if this all resonates, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your feedback or anything else. And I hope that you have a wonderful week. I love you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.